Imagine a small, tight-knit village, about 100 people who all know each other, settling in for the night. They go to sleep in their own beds, but by the very next morning, the entire population is gone. There were no children, no elderly adults, not even the livestock. There were no signs of a struggle, just perfectly empty houses. This is the documented history of the Roanoke colony, beginning in 1587. This map shows the coastline of the New World, where 115 English settlers arrived under the leadership of Governor John White. Realizing they lacked the supplies to survive the winter, White sailed back to England, intending to return within a few months. But he arrived in the middle of the Anglo-Spanish War. The English crown seized every available vessel for the Navy, effectively stranding White in Europe. 1 year turned into 3. It wasn't until 1590 that White finally secured a ship to return to the Americas. He expected to find a thriving community, or at the very least, desperate survivors. Instead, he found a complete ghost town. An entire colonial expedition had vanished, creating one of the most complex forensic cold cases in history. To understand what happened, we have to treat the 1590 Roanoke site as an active crime scene and test the physical evidence. The most common assumption is a massacre, that the settlement was wiped out by a rival European military or a local indigenous tribe. However, the physical structures tell a different story. The houses were found intact, and the defensive perimeter was still standing. Searchers found no burn marks, no discarded weapons, and no remains. Because there was no structural damage and a total absence of biological evidence, a violent massacre is unlikely. That leaves biological threats like a sudden epidemic or mass starvation. Modern archaeologists use ground-penetrating radar to look for the one thing these events always leave behind: mass graves. Despite exhaustive scans of the area, they have never found any skeletal remains belonging to the colonists. Searchers found only one single physical trace left at the site: the word Croatoan carved into a tree. This suggests the settlers may have relocated to nearby Croatoan Island to live among the local indigenous tribes. For centuries, researchers have conducted excavations on that island, looking for physical proof of that integration. But the search has failed to produce any European artifacts from the 1587 settlement. The trail ends there. Today, we are looking back at over 400 years of investigation. We have used everything from soil chemistry to deep archival research, yet the void remains. Generally, human movements leave a forensic footprint, evidence of where we went and how we died. At Roanoke, there is nothing. This lack of resolution is why we still call it the Lost Colony. It is a rare instance where modern forensics have provided no clear answers. It is a reminder that history occasionally leaves gaps that we cannot fill, no matter how much evidence we collect.